Eleanor Whitmore's carriage rattled along the uneven path. The wheels kicked up dust, a stark contrast to the pristine cobblestones of London she left behind. London with its suffocating whispers and judging eyes. Whispers about her husband's untimely demise. Eyes that saw scandal, not sorrow. Blackwood Manor was her escape. She had accepted her distant cousin's invitation weeks ago. Lord Sebastian Blackwood offered sanctuary, a chance to breathe, to heal. The countryside air, already heavy with the coming evening, promised respite. Eleanor leaned back against the carriage seat, closing her eyes. She yearned for peace, yet a tremor of apprehension ran through her. What awaited her at Blackwood Manor? The carriage lurched to a stop, jolting Eleanor back to the present. She opened her eyes. Looming before her was a sight both majestic and menacing. Blackwood Manor stood tall, a monolith of grey stone against the darkening sky. Ivy clung to its walls like grasping hands, and the numerous windows seemed to watch her with vacant eyes. Eleanor took a deep breath. There was no turning back. The manor was imposing. Centuries-old stone spoke of forgotten grandeur and whispered of bygone eras. Each step deeper into its embrace felt heavier than the last. Shadows danced in the flickering gaslight, playing tricks on her already frayed nerves. Eleanor felt a chill travel down her spine, despite the warmth of the fire crackling in the hearth. Lord Sebastian Blackwood himself greeted her in the grand hall. He was tall and imposing, his presence commanding attention. His eyes, the colour of a stormy sky, held a depth that was both alluring and unsettling. A wave of something unexpected washed over Eleanor, not fear, but a strange sense of recognition, as if she had known him a lifetime ago. "Welcome to Blackwood Manor, Mrs. Whitmore." His voice was a deep baritone, resonating within the vast hall. "I trust your journey was bearable." Eleanor nodded, momentarily speechless. His gaze was intense, searching, seeing more than she cared to reveal. "Thank you, Lord Blackwood," she finally managed, her voice barely a whisper. "It is an honor to be here." He offered a curt nod, the corner of his lips lifting slightly in a gesture that might have been a smile. "Come," he said, turning away, "let me show you to your chambers. You must be weary from your travels." The days that followed were a blur of exploration and unease. Eleanor wandered the manor's endless corridors and lost herself in its overgrown gardens. The weight of London seemed to lift with each breath of crisp country air. Yet a palpable tension hung in the air within Blackwood's walls, a secret held captive by the silence. Lord Blackwood was an enigma. He was courteous, yet distant. His presence filled every room, even in his absence. He would join her for meals, his silence speaking volumes. Sometimes their eyes would meet across the table, and Eleanor would feel a jolt of something inexplicable. Desire? Fear? She couldn't be sure. One evening, as they sat by the fire in the library, Lord Blackwood spoke of his late wife. His voice, usually so controlled, wavered slightly. He spoke of her beauty, her grace, and the tragic accident that had claimed her life. Eleanor listened intently, her heart pounding in her chest. There was a depth of sorrow in his words, a pain that resonated with her own loss. "She loved this house," he said, his voice barely audible above the crackling fire. "She is everywhere, yet nowhere." He looked up then, his eyes meeting Eleanor's. For a fleeting moment she saw a flicker of vulnerability in their depths, a glimpse behind the mask he wore so well. Section 4. Unveiling the Past. The manor held whispers of the past, echoes of lives lived and lost within its ancient walls. Eleanor felt drawn to its mysteries, compelled to uncover the truth hidden beneath layers of time and secrecy. She spent hours in the library, poring over dusty tomes and faded letters. One afternoon, while exploring the manor's west wing, Eleanor stumbled upon a hidden door concealed behind a tapestry. Curiosity overriding caution, she pushed it open. The air inside was stale and cold, thick with the scent of dust and decay. As her eyes adjusted to the dimness, she realized she was in a small, dusty room. A chill ran down her spine. This room was different. It felt forgotten, abandoned, as if time itself had shunned its existence. The room was sparsely furnished, with only a writing desk, a chair, and a cheval mirror. Dust covered every surface, and cobwebs hung from the ceiling like macabre decorations. Eleanor approached the desk cautiously. A thick layer of dust covered a leather-bound journal lying open on its surface. She reached out, her fingers trembling slightly, and gently blew away the dust. The journal's pages were filled with elegant handwriting, the ink faded with time. It was a diary, the diary of Lord Blackwood's late wife. Section 5, Forbidden Desires. Sebastian, Eleanor breathed, her fingers tracing the name on the worn page. The diary entries were intimate, filled with longing and despair. They spoke of a love that was both passionate and forbidden, a love that consumed her every thought. Eleanor's heart pounded as she read, each word revealing a truth more shocking than the last. Sebastian's wife, the beautiful and enigmatic Serafina, had not died in an accident. She had taken her own life, driven to despair by a love that could never be hers. The diary entries spoke of secret rendezvous, stolen moments, and a love so intense it bordered on madness. But who was the object of her affections? Who had captured her heart and driven her to such desperate measures? Eleanor's eyes scanned the pages, searching for a name, a clue, anything that could shed light on this forbidden romance. And then she found it. A name scrawled in the margin, almost illegible. The name sent a chill down her spine, for it was a name she knew well, a name that filled her with a mixture of dread and undeniable excitement, her own. The realization hit her like a physical blow. Serafina's forbidden love, the man who had captured her heart and ultimately led to her demise, was none other than Lord Blackwood himself. But how could this be? He had spoken of his wife with such love, such sorrow. Was it all a lie? A carefully constructed facade to mask a darker truth?